you guys were so notable for what big play capability you had, but of course you had Ottman, Bell, and Johnson and Bateman, and a terrific quarterback who found them. You guys had 29 TD passes just to the wideouts last year. Penn State had 13. Is that simply a function of the personnel, or is this something you can do to give Penn State more of a downfield big play capability?
Well, explosive plays are important, right? When you're looking at statistics, we've got all these statistical people out there. I've always believed that, the turnover margin and explosive plays are really, really important. And I think that one of the key things that I do is not necessarily the exact play that I call at the exact time, but how do we decide who the ball is trying to get directed to? Who are we trying to allow to give opportunities to influence the game, and I think every offense is a little bit different. That just happened to be who my playmakers were, who my best players were on the team at Minnesota. So it was kind of directed that way. But every offense is different, and, this season at Minnesota, it'll be a little different. And, just like this season at Penn State's going to be different than last season, not just because I'm here, right? The players are different. The offensive unit is different, and their strengths and weaknesses. So, but explosive plays are very important. I believe that from a philosophical standpoint. So we've got to make sure that we find a way to create explosive plays. And part of, creating explosive plays is executing. Like if we're not making first downs, we're not going to run enough plays to create the explosive plays that we need.
Thanks, Kurt.
You're welcome.
Audrey Snyder, go ahead.
Kirk, one of the things that James Franklin has said over the years with different coaches is that, some coaches are more night owls, some are early risers, and that can be a challenge when game planning. And James is an early guy. How do you factor into that? Are you a morning person, or when do you do your best work?
I'm definitely a morning guy.
Okay.
It's my strength. At night, as the evening wears on, there'll be a lot of times where I'm not going to make a decision on something yet. I'm going to sleep. I'll tell the guys I'm going to sleep on this. And usually I get up early in the morning, and when I think about it at that point, it usually comes to me a lot clearer exactly what we should do. And by the time they get in, I say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why, and let's rock and roll with it. But it's funny that we talked about that in the interview process too. I said, are you a night owl or are you a morning riser, early guy? And he goes, oh, I'm an early morning guy. I was like, perfect. Me too. So as far as changes go, like you're just going to see a lot of correlation, and I'm kind of going to be gray in that area. I'm going to assume that Indiana is going to try to watch this. But the changes, the philosophies, Coach Franklin's still the head coach. So the philosophies are going to be the same, within that. But, I want our offense, though, to be an offense that when you watch us, you say they take care of the ball. They execute at a really high level, right? Their details are tremendous. And these guys are always attacking, right? They're relentless. We're physical. We're going to strike first and strike fast, and just be aggressive. Like that's what I want everyone to say when you see our offense. So I hope I answered your question, John. I'm not sure if I did.
Parthipadia.
Hey, Coach, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So kind of going back to the running backs, both on and off the field, in what ways have you seen Journey Brown take on more of a leadership role? I know he had a big second half of the season. What ways has he kind of taken on that role and kind of managed high expectations on himself coming into 2020?
Yeah, I'm not sure, having not been here last year, I'm not sure what type of leader he was last season, but he's done a great job as a leader. He's got a very infectious personality. He's very upbeat, very positive young man, high energy, and, he lets that come off on his teammates. He makes sure his teammates feel that high energy, and that positive attitude. He's always right there to pick somebody up when they make a mistake, to keep their head in it and to just keep grinding along. So he's got a lot of great leadership qualities that you really want, on your team.
Joe Giuliano.
Hello, Kirk. Getting 2 questions ago, you were talking about the offense. My question simply is, without giving away any secrets, how would you describe your offense?
Again, I hope that you see a team that takes care of the ball, right? That executes at a really high level. We have to be able to do what we do better than you can do what you do. I really believe that. I think the offense has answers. We know if you move your chess piece here, we know where to move our chess piece next in the game. And I want to be physical, right? Football's a physical game, right? I want us to be physical. And that really starts up front with the O-line, right? And that's what we've talked about with them. Like, you're going to play a big part in creating our identity from a physical standpoint, from a mentality standpoint. So like that's what we want to be. We believe in explosive plays, but explosive plays come from execution. 11 guys doing their job, play after play after play. That's how explosive plays happen organically. You're not going to hit that 30-yard dig pass over the middle unless the protection's right. You're not going to suck the linebackers up unless you were able to run the ball a little bit and make them honor their gaps. You're not going to get that receiver on that one-on-one post shot over the top unless everybody else has been doing their job play after play. They're not going to let them one-on-one at that point. So it takes everybody. And I really believe this, like, offensive football has got to be 11 guys playing together, play after play, doing their job, play after play, and I might have said this before, but the best analogy of that I can think of is if you go and listen to an orchestra play, right? What makes the music so nice is all the different instruments playing in sync together, right? And like that, when you have 11 guys playing together on offense, it's a beautiful thing to watch, right? But if you have a couple of guys going the wrong way or not doing their job, it can be ugly at times to watch. Just like that orchestra or symphony, if somebody's not playing in tune, it doesn't sound good. So that's what I want to have out of our offense.
We'll go to Audrey Snyder.
Hey, sorry. A lot of people, when they look at offenses, they kind of evolve over time, and the same offense that you guys have week 1 probably will look different week 9. The way the schedule sets up, of course, with Ohio State week 2, how much of your offense do you think realistically can be going and flowing and clicking by that point?
Well, we need to be clicking and flowing by the Indiana game, and that's the situation, right? And we know what we're up against, and that's the objective, to be clicking and going by the time we hit Indiana. Does an offense evolve throughout the season? Yeah, absolutely. You learn a little bit more about your team every single week, but we don't have that luxury right now with no non-conference games, as we talked about earlier. But right now, that's where my vision is, that we've got to be clicking on all cylinders come Indiana, and that's the way the other assistant coaches are thinking about it. And really that's the way our players are thinking about it. That we've got to make sure we maximize every opportunity to get better and to get ourselves ready to go for the Indiana game. But all the teams are facing the same challenges in the Big Ten. I mean, Indiana's got the same challenge we have. Ohio State's going to have the same challenge we have to be ready to go when we play each other. But right now, we're just worried about getting better every single day, right? That's what we control, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Rich Scarcella.
Kirk, can I ask you about the offensive line? What you've seen from them during the workouts? And also, can you describe what kind of leadership that Michael Menet in particular has shown?
Yeah, I think, Coach Trout's done a great job with these guys, watching their skill development from the winter through yesterday's practice. I think they've really bought into his techniques and what we're trying to accomplish in the run game with our guys. And again, not that the old way was bad. It's just that what we want to get accomplished comes down to philosophy within our run game, and what we're emphasizing could be a little bit different than what they have emphasized in the past, right? So I think he's done a great job. By the way, just as a sidebar, like the assistant coaches here are tremendous. I mean, they've done an unbelievable job in developing each and every position that we have. So I'm excited to see us put the pads on and to watch us do that. We're no longer striking bags. I said it the other day, if we could get Indiana to hold the bags for us and our linemen could strike them, we'd be pretty good at that, because we're nailing those bags now. So we're going to get to strike a real person real soon as we put the pads on here. So I'm excited to see that, and watch them continue to grow, so get them to play together, right? And I've seen a lot of growth in that area where their communication has improved so that they can play as one. Those five got to play as one person. As far as Michael Menet goes, incredibly valuable, his leadership. And Mike, Sean, Journey, Pat, our older guys, like they really were embraced the staff changes when we got here, and were able to quickly develop a relationship with those key players, and the communication with them has made everything a lot easier. And I know Coach Trout and Michael talk all the time, and have really developed a tremendous relationship. And again, that helps, right? Because it's not the message that's important. It's the messengers are more important than the actual message, right? And so to have this leadership that we have, and again, which is a tribute to the culture that Coach has in this program, the kind of leadership we have has been invaluable to me and really all the coaches.
We have time for one more question, so we'll go to Ben Free.
Hi, Kirk. I just wanted to, what is the biggest growth you've seen from the wide receiver room just under Taylor Stubblefield? And does he kind of bring a unique perspective to the coaching room just based on his accolades from playing?
Yeah, I always think that helps, right? The fact that he was a great player, right? And I don't want to say this the wrong way about him, but he was a very savvy player, right? And got the most out of his talents. So I think that helps him as he's coaching with the players, but I think it adds validity to it. I think the same thing that Coach Trout played in the NFL, offensive line, right? Started on a national championship team and then played for 5 or 6 years in the NFL, helps establish that validity. He's been where they want to go. Yet he's young enough to can relate to them still. He wasn't that long ago. He was in their shoes. So that's what makes them special. I just say the biggest thing about that I've seen growth in the wide receivers is they're playing faster, meaning that when the ball's snapped, they've got a plan for what a receiver has to get from point A to point B as fast and efficiently as possible. And I think their biggest growth from the first time I watched them run routes to now is they have a better plan for how to get from point A to point B. And that comes with an understanding of what can happen to me between point A and point B, and how am I going to counteract these things if they happen to me. If you can run a straight line between point A and point B, well, please do it, right? That's the fastest way there. But unfortunately in football, there's usually some things that get in your way between point A and point B, and you have to be able to counter move them. So I think just their growth from a planning standpoint and their overall football knowledge, and I shouldn't say overall football knowledge. What I should say is how to take that knowledge, right, and be able to use it in real time out there on the football field. It's not that they didn't know what to do already, but that growth of being able to take this knowledge, right? Functional intelligence is the ability to take this knowledge that you have up here and apply it in real time. Ball snapped, and now let me be able to apply this knowledge that's what's happening so I can play fast. And that's probably the biggest area that I've seen growth in them. We still have a lot of room to grow there, which is the exciting part for me, but they're getting better every single day.